Well, Hansi, I'd like to put a question forward to you. In my introduction, I mentioned that in my role as the information officer, it extends to not just POPIA, but to PAIA as well, which is the promotion of access to information. Now, where we are today, I think most people will be fairly familiar with what POPIA is, but some people may not be quite familiar with what PAIA is, what it means, promotion of access to information, and what that relationship is with POPIA. Could I ask you to maybe expand on that?
So prior to POPIA, the only real legislation that was available for the promotion of information was the PAIA Act. And what the PAIA Act does, it requires a private but also a public body to have visible on its website a manual, and in that manual it sets out the contact details of the information officer, which is yourself, and also all the companies under which you would then look over their personal information and records thereof. And really then what it does, it gives a requester who wants to get hold of a record of information an opportunity to, in terms of PAIA, request that information from you. Firstly, that will be free of charge, then confirming whether or not you have that information. And if you do have that information, on payment of the prescribed fee, which is currently 50 Rand, you will then be in a position to make that record available if certain requirements are met. So obviously, if you are entitled to it and you have a legitimate interest and you have a right to it, you will be able to get a copy of that record. And we see that happening on a very regular basis, but that is then through a litigation process, for instance, or where there is an enforcement agency like the Competition Commission, which requires certain records then of information. And the relevant section there in POPI is section 23, which gives that, affords a data subject that right to approach you as information officer in terms of PAIA. So yeah, it's sometimes a bit of a a handful PAIA, but that's just the difference. Thank you.
Essentially, if a PAIA request comes in, we need to be quite cognizant of, before that information is shared, does it involve personal information? And if it does involve personal information, to ensure that we are complying with the 8 principles for lawful processing. Thank you for that.